In this video, we'll be looking at 3 LOS. A. Demonstrate the application of the Code of Ethics and Standards of Professional Conduct to situations involving issues of professional integrity. B. Distinguish between conduct that conforms to the Code and Standards and conduct that violates the Code and Standards. And finally, C. Recommend practices and procedures designed to prevent violations of the Code of Ethics and Standards of Professional Conduct. Standard 4, Duties to Employers, Substandard A, Loyalty. Standard 4A, Loyalty. In matters related to their employment, members and candidates must act for the benefit of their employer and not deprive their employer of the advantage of their skills and abilities, divulge confidential information, or otherwise cause harm to their employer. Some highlights with regards to this standard are employer responsibilities, independent practice, leaving an employer, use of social media, whistleblowing, and nature of employment. Guidance for Standard 4A, Loyalty. Place clients' interests first, but consider effects on firm integrity and sustainability. Members encouraged to give employer a copy of the Code and Standards. No incentive or compensation structure that encourages unethical behavior. Continuing with the guidance, if planning to engage in independent practice, notify employer of services provided, expected duration, and compensation. Do not proceed without consent from the employer, and that should be written consent. Continuing with the guidance, act in best interest of employer until resignation is effective. Employer records on any medium, cell phone, PDA, home computer, are property of the firm. Simple knowledge of names of former clients is okay, but don't solicit prior to leaving. And no prohibition on use of experience or knowledge gained at former employer. Last slide on the guidance for Standard 4A, Loyalty. Whistleblowing is permitted only if it protects client or integrity of capital markets. That's an important one. And not permitted for personal gain. Recommended procedures for Standard 4A, Loyalty. There should be a competition policy, termination policy, incident reporting procedures, and employee classification. And I'll just remind candidates and students that there's 15 examples in the reading of application of the standard. So I've just been giving the bullet points with regards to the guidance and the recommended procedures, but you need to go in and look at those examples as well for each of the standards and substandards. And that's the last slide for Standard 4A, Loyalty. Thank you.